Good morning. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so very much for joining me. My name is Kassandra, and I'm going to take you through this morning yoga flow. So this class is actually a sequence I recorded and posted on Instagram a little while back. When I practice at home, I don't plan out my classes. I just kind of move intuitively and improvise as I go along. And that morning, I decided to record my practice and share it on Instagram. And I got a ton of requests to film it and offer it as an online class here on YouTube and in my mobile app. So that's what I'll be doing. This is an intermediate full body practice with no props required. And this is really a good balance between stretch and flexibility, as well as strengthening poses to really get our energy moving. And we are going to begin seated. Come into Barakanasana, a butterfly pose, so that you have the soles of your feet together, knees apart, and really think of pressing forward here. So you're kind of tilting your pelvis forward as much as possible, and then reach out with your fingers, lengthen out through your spine, and we're going to go side to side. So just start to crawl your hands over to the right, and getting a little side bend here. Relax your head, relax your neck. So it's morning for me as well right now as I'm filming this. It's my first movement of the day. So it's totally normal for our muscles to be a little tighter, to feel a bit stiff. And you can stay low, but just crawl and walk your hands over to the other side. Stretching and lengthening out. And come all the way back through to center. See if you can get a little bit deeper. And walk your hands in. Let's come all the way up. And now bring your knees up, widen your feet towards the edges of your mat, and you're going to drop both knees and both thighs over to the right and see if you can fold all the way down towards your right knee. And down onto that right thigh. Go ahead and lift yourself back up. We'll go do that same thing on the other side, so like a variation of our deer pose. Let both knees and thighs drop over to the left and fold on down. Just checking in to see how that glute and thigh are feeling this morning. Lift on back up. Coming back through to center, a variation of our butterfly fold. Walk your feet out in front of you and keep your feet distanced from each other. You can hold on to your big toes with your two-piece fingers and then fold on down. So I'm lightly pulling back on my toes to get a little bit of traction as I reach the crown of my head forward. Knees are bent at a 90-degree angle or so. Try to breathe in and out through your nose. Coming all the way back up. Let's bring our right leg out in front of us, left foot to the inside of that thigh and fold on in. I'm letting myself round and relax in the pose. I'm not making this very active. Take 5 breaths here. This is your opportunity to connect with yourself this morning, to check in, and to move with intention and with mindfulness. Use your hands pushing into the floor to curl and lift back up. And now keep your legs as they are, but you're just going to open your left knee out to the side. So you're trying to reach your legs further away from one another. Your left heel is still in close here, and we'll find a side bend. So reach your left arm all the way up and over. Really roll that left shoulder back, lean back. Big side body stretch. And at the same time, I'm trying to push my left knee down. Relax your neck, relax your head. Into your baby wild thing, come up, bring your left hand back behind you, reach your right arm up and over, press and lift your hips. And as you set your hips down, keep your legs open in this way and turn to twist facing over towards your knee. And if you can, wrap your left hand to the outer edge of your right foot. And this can help pull you in closer, trying to bring your head to your knee. Variation of Janu Shirshasana, head to knee pose. Coming all the way back up, let's do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to turn face this way. So left leg out in front of you, right foot to the inside of the thigh, and just melt forward and down. Creating space all along your spine, getting a big stretch through the back of your left leg. So how do you want this day to go? What is your intention going forward into your day? And breathing in and out through your nose. And start to walk your hands in, lift on up, and just open your right knee. So try to create space between both legs, and we'll find our side body stretch first. So right arm extends all the way up and over. Roll your right shoulder back, lean back, and drop your head fully. So there's no tension in your neck. Lifting all the way up, baby wild thing. Right hand down, left arm swings up and over. Press your hips up, little counter stretch. And as you set your hips down, you can wrap your right hand to the outer edge of your left foot to help pull you in deeper to the fold. Lifting up, let's release tabletop pose onto hands and knees, palms under your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Into your puppy stretch, walk your hands forward, keep your hips over your knees, and melt forehead and heart down towards the mat. Feeling a nice big opening and a stretch through your shoulders, through your upper back. Draw your lower belly in a little bit here. Pushing a little bit into your palms. Breathe into your upper back. And you can bend your elbows just so that you can lift your head up and walk your arms in. We're going to stay on our forearms and do cat and cow from a forearm stance. Different way of getting into the spine in this way. So as you inhale, drop your belly, lift your gaze, curl tailbone up. And as you exhale, reverse this motion. Contract chin to chest, and just keep going a few more rounds. Really focusing on the mid and upper back, the space between your shoulder blades. This is personally where I have the most amount of tightness in my body. So doing this from the forearms can just be a better way to work on that weak point. One more cycle, inhale. And exhale. Parshvabalasana, your thread the needle. You're just going to reach your right arm underneath you, head and shoulder to the mat, and you can keep your left arm reaching up and over, pushing evenly into both arms. You can lean your hips a little bit over towards the right so that you're not twisting through your lower body. Big breath in, and let's release. We'll just go to the other side. So prop yourself up, and you're going to twist by bringing your left arm underneath you, Right arm reaching up overhead, pushing evenly into both hands, both arms, and leaning your hips a little bit more so towards the left this time. Making our way through to center, slide forward onto your belly. And go ahead and reach your arms out in front of you, palms facing in towards one another. Back of the neck is long. Reach through your toes. As you inhale, you're going to lift your right arm and your left leg off the mat. So really activate the muscles through your spine, through that back leg. And go ahead and lower down. And we're just going to switch and alternate. Inhale, reach. Left arm, right leg up. Try to keep the back of your knee straight. And lower down. 2 more on each side. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Lift. And release. 1 more here. Inhale. And let it go. Now from here, bend into your left knee. Grab a hold of your left foot with your left hand. And you're going to lift everything up off the floor. At the same time, with this half bow pose, you're trying to kick your left foot into your hand. You should be able to breathe here. And let's release. We'll do the same thing to the other side. Left arm forward, bend your right knee, grab a hold of your right foot. When you're ready, squeeze and lift. Back of the neck is long. This is a deeply activating pose, working on the posterior chain. And melt back down to the floor. Let's press back into a wide-legged child's pose. Big toes together, knees apart. Press your hips towards your heels. And walk your hands out, folding down here. 5 deep breaths. And you're welcome to choose to stay in this pose and just hold this wide like a child's pose, or you can come into frog. So a deeper stretch. You're going to move your hips forward so that my hips are in line with my knees. And then I'm going to open up my legs, making little frog legs here as I have my ankles directly behind my knees, bent at a 90-degree angle. And you can prop yourself up on your palms, on your forearms. You can melt on down. 5 deep breaths. And I know this can be rough on the inner knees and inner thighs. I'm on carpet, so it's not too bad. But if it's just too painful at home, just stay in your child's pose. We're not going to be here very long. From frog, keep rocking your hips all the way forward until you find a belly butterfly pose. So really working on our inner thighs. So the soles of the feet can come together to touch, and you're just going to do a little windshield wiper motion. So trying to work that heel and that ankle down a little bit more. And find some stillness in your belly butterfly. And breathe deeply into your belly. And straighten your legs. Bring your feet back in and let's press back up. So moving from a modified child's pose into a little push-up, we're going to start to build up some heat. So we're going to go from child's pose, pressing our hips back towards our heels. You're going to inhale, ripple forward through your spine, push it down, and press it all the way back. 5 in total. So 4 more. 3 more. Keep your elbows in as you push down, stretching all the way. And really articulate through your spine here. Last one. And press and release. And plank pose, come all the way forward, tuck your toes under and lift your knees up. Just hold here, really feel that engagement through your lower belly as you pull that belly button up. Shrug your shoulders away from your ears, press down into your fingertips and knuckles. You're gonna bring your right knee to your left elbow, drop your left heel down and extend your right leg straight for your Lang triangle. So I'm pushing into both feet into the floor to extend and lift my left arm up to the sky. Think of pressing your hips up high. Back into your plank pose. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So this time, left knee comes to your right elbow. Straighten your left leg. Drop your right heel down and push your feet into the floor to reach your right arm up to the sky. Big breath in here. Feel your obliques engaged, and we'll find our first downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Lifting your hips up and back, stretching everything out. Let's reach our right leg up towards the sky. Bend your right knee, open up your hip. Straighten and square that right leg. And now you're gonna bend both knees, so bringing your ankles together to touch. And then inhale, stretch it back up. Let's find our high lunge, Ashta Chandrasana. Right foot steps to the top of the mat. Make sure your feet are hip-width distance apart, and you're gonna go and hook your thumbs towards each other. And as if you're trying to pull them apart, reach your arms up towards the sky. So a little bit of pressure against the thumbs. You're trying to feel this kind of at the top of the rib cage, into your shoulders. Keep your tailbone heavy so you're not puffing forward. And now go ahead and release the hold of the arms. Interlace your hands behind your lower back. Roll your shoulders back. Inhale, little back bend. And fold on down. Diving to the inside of that right leg. Reaching your knuckles up as high as they can go as you drop your head. Carefully place your back knee to the mat and go ahead and lift your upper body up. You can keep your right hand reaching towards your left thigh. Reach your left arm up and back. So a little back bend added with a twist. Sinking your hips down and facing forward again. Widen your right foot so you have lots of space here. We'll come into a gecko or lizard pose. You can lift your right toes up, roll to the outer edge of your right foot, and come on down as low as is comfortable to you here. 5 deep breaths. Lifting back up. Let's take a vinyasa from here. So find plank pose. Inhale. Chaturanga. Exhale. Upward dog. And downward facing dog. Repeating the sequence on the second side. Left leg rises. Bend your left knee. Open up your hip. Straighten and square that left leg. You're going to bend both knees. Tap the ankles. Lift it back up. High lunge. Left foot forward to the top of the mat. And now hook your other thumb on top as you put a little bit of pressure, trying to pull your hands away from one another, shining your palms forward. Keep your floating ribs tucked in so you're not flaring the chest open. Sinking low. Go ahead and release the arms. You're going to interlace the more unusual way here, behind your lower back, so the other hand on top. And when you're ready, dive on down. Stay strong through your back leg. Keep your hips nice and low. Into our reverse low lunge, bring your right knee to the mat. Go ahead and lift up with your chest, and you can keep your left hand to your thigh, right arm up. Into your lizard pose, both hands to the inside of that left leg. You might want to widen your stance. Curl the left toes up, roll to the outer edge of that foot, and maybe come on down. One more big belly breath. And come on up. Taking your Vinyasa, plank, Chaturanga, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, Adho Mukha Svanasana. And you can walk your feet forward a little bit, widen your stance, heels in, toes out, Malasana, into your squat. You can use your elbows to push your knees open a little bit wider. And very lightly let your hips come down, and you can lower all the way down onto your back. We'll finish off with a twist, so you can open your arms out. Move your hips a little to the right. I'm going to wrap my right leg over the left one before letting both knees drop down to the left. And notice how when your knees and thighs drop down, the right shoulder tends to pop up. So as much as possible, I'm trying to press it down into the mat. So we are slowing down our breath rhythm here. Really starting to tune in. Just ask yourself, what is your intention for the day ahead? If you had to just pick one word, what would it be? Let's float the knees back up, unwrap your legs, and go to the other side so your hips can shift to the left. Wrap your left thigh over your right one and let both knees drop down to the right without popping your left shoulder completely off the mat. It might lift up a little bit, which is fine, but try not to lift it up so much that you end up facing the right side of the room. And let's lift all the way back up. Normally in my morning yoga classes, I finish with a seated meditation, but I feel like we've energized ourselves enough that probably won't fall asleep. But if you're worried about doing Shavasana, you can just sit up. Otherwise, just like 2 minutes or so here. Take up some space with your arms and your legs. Close your eyes. And really let this practice settle within you. Letting it fully land. You might notice certain areas of your body buzzing, or feeling some other type of sensation, maybe some heat. Simply observe how you feel and use this time to set your intention for the day. And deepen your breath so that we can reawaken. Bring some life and movement back into your body. Stretch your arms up overhead. And we'll roll to one side. Push your hands into the floor. Come on up. Come to take a seat here. Bring your hands together at the front of your heart and really connect to this one word intention for your day. And we'll set it together, and we'll close this practice by chanting Om one time. Let's inhale to chant. Big breath in. Om. Thank you so very much, everyone, for doing this morning yoga practice with me. I hope it went well. Please leave me a comment before you go. Please subscribe, and hopefully you'll join me again tomorrow morning for more morning yoga.